"You have been served," the man stated flatly, thrusting the thick envelope into my hands. I stood frozen in my doorway as he walked away, my daughter crying in her high chair behind me. The words on the legal document blurred before my eyes. Petition to terminate parental rights. My phone buzzed. A text from Kayla. "You should have trusted me. Now you'll never see her again." I slumped against the doorframe, the papers trembling in my hands. Just 3 weeks ago, we were celebrating Lily's first birthday. Now, I was being legally erased from my daughter's life. All because I couldn't believe a black man could father a pale, red-haired, blue-eyed little girl. The DNA test that proved she was mine had cost me everything. It started with whispers. The first time was at the grocery store when Lily was 2 months old. An elderly white woman peered into our stroller, then looked at me with confusion. "Oh, are you babysitting?" she asked with a smile. "No, I'm her father," I replied, my chest tightening. Her smile faltered. "Oh, well, isn't that nice?" She hurried away, glancing back twice. I'd expected some of this. I'm dark-skinned with black hair and brown eyes. Kayla is blonde with pale blue eyes. We knew our baby would likely have lighter skin than mine. But when Lily was born with porcelain skin, bright copper hair, and eyes as blue as her mother's, even I was shocked. There wasn't a single feature I could point to and say, "That's from me." Genetics are wild, right? Kayla had said in the hospital, cradling our newborn. My grandmother had red hair. It must have skipped a generation. I nodded and smiled, but a small voice whispered in my head, "Or she's not yours." I tried to silence it. I changed diapers, did midnight feedings, sang lullabies. I was there for every milestone. First smile, first laugh, first time rolling over. But with each passing month, as Lily's features became more defined, that voice grew louder. The comments didn't help. "She looks exactly like her mama. Those genes of yours didn't stand a chance, huh, buddy? Are you sure they didn't give you the wrong baby at the hospital?" Followed by awkward laughter. Sometimes it was just looks. The double takes when I called her my daughter. The confused glances between strangers when I pushed her stroller through the park. The way Kayla's co-workers would compliment how much Lily looked like her, then go silent when they looked at me. 6 months in, during a family barbecue, Kayla's brother Matt squinted at Lily, then at me. "Man, that kid is white as snow. You sure she's yours?" He laughed and took a swig of beer. Kayla immediately flew at him. "What the hell, Matt? That's disgusting." "I'm just saying what everyone's thinking," he muttered, backing away. That night, I tried to talk to Kayla about it. "It doesn't bother you that she doesn't look like me at all?" I asked as we got ready for bed. Her expression hardened instantly. "What are you actually asking me, Andre?" "Nothing, just, it's surprising. Are you accusing me of something? Just come out and say it." Her voice was ice. "I'm not accusing you of anything. I'm just saying it's tough sometimes when no one believes I'm her dad." "So this is about other people? Or is it about you not believing you're her dad?" I didn't have an answer that wouldn't make things worse. "I can't believe you." She grabbed her pillow. "I'm sleeping on the couch." After that, any mention of Lily's appearance sparked an immediate fight. Kayla accused me of not trusting her, of letting strangers' opinions matter more than our relationship. I accused her of dismissing my feelings and refusing to acknowledge how hard it was for me. Meanwhile, my bond with Lily felt strained. I loved her fiercely, but couldn't shake the doubt that poisoned quiet moments. I'd stare at her sleeping face, searching for any hint of myself, and finding nothing. By Lily's 9th month, I couldn't take it anymore. One afternoon, when Kayla took Lily to visit her parents, I drove to a pharmacy in a different neighborhood and bought a home paternity test. 3 days later, when Kayla took Lily grocery shopping, I swabbed the inside of my daughter's cheek in my own, then mailed the samples. The results arrived via email 2 weeks later. I opened it alone in our home office, my heart pounding. Probability of paternity, 99.9999% relief, crashed over me like a wave. She was mine. All my doubts, all the fights, all the pain for nothing. I deleted the email and buried the testing kit receipt deep in the trash, determined to rebuild what my insecurity had damaged. That night, I was the perfect boyfriend and father. I cooked dinner, gave Lily her bath, read her favorite story 3 times before bed. Kayla seemed cautiously pleased by my change in mood. "You seem better," she said as we watched TV that evening. "I am better," I replied, squeezing her hand. "I'm sorry for everything. You were right all along." She studied my face. "What changed?" I hesitated. "I just realized what matters. You and Lily are my family." For a week, things improved. The doubt was gone, and I threw myself into being present for both of them. Kayla remained wary, but seemed willing to move forward. Then Lily got sick. It started with a fever that wouldn't break. By the second day, we rushed her to the emergency room. As they admitted her for tests, the nurse asked about family medical history. "Any genetic conditions we should know about? Anything that runs on either side?" she asked, looking between us. "Nothing on my side," Kayla said. All eyes turned to me. Nothing I know of." The nurse nodded. "We'll run some standard panels, just to be safe." As she left, Kayla reached for her purse. "I'm going to get coffee. Can I get you anything?" I shook my head, and she disappeared down the hall. Her purse had fallen open slightly. The corner of my credit card statement peeked out. She must have collected the mail that morning. Without thinking, I pulled it out to check the balance. As I flipped through the pages, a charge I didn't recognize caught my eye. Genetic Solutions Labs, $129. My stomach dropped. I hadn't used my credit card for the test. I'd paid cash. But I'd ordered the kit online with my account while logged in at home. The bathroom door opened, and Kayla emerged. Our eyes met, and she saw the statement in my hands. "What are you doing going through my purse?" she demanded. I wasn't. It was open, and I saw my statement. I swallowed hard. "Kayla, I can explain." She snatched the paper from my hands, saw what I'd been looking at, and her face transformed with rage and hurt. "You got a paternity test?" Her voice was barely a whisper. "Kayla, our daughter is in the hospital, and you're still hung up on whether she's really yours?" Her voice rose. "What did it say? Am I vindicated now? She's mine. Of course she's mine. Get out." Her voice shook. "What? No, I'm not leaving her. Get out," she screamed. A nurse appeared in the doorway, alarmed. "Is everything okay in here?" Kayla pointed at me, tears streaming down her face. "He needs to leave. Now." "Ma'am, if he's the father, ask him," she spat. "Ask him if he's the father. He needed a DNA test to figure out." The nurse looked at me, her expression shifting from confusion to disgust. "Sir, I think you should step outside while we sort this out." I looked at Lily, tiny and feverish in the huge hospital bed, then back at Kayla. "Please," I said quietly. "She's my daughter too." "Not anymore," Kayla hissed. "My brother was right about you." 3 days later, Lily was diagnosed with a severe ear infection and released from the hospital. Kayla refused to let me see her. She moved in with her parents and blocked my number. I sent emails that went unanswered. I drove by their house daily, hoping to catch a glimpse of them, until her father threatened to call the police. 2 weeks after that, I received the court summons. Kayla's brother Matt, an attorney, had filed a petition to terminate my parental rights on grounds of abandonment and demonstrable lack of commitment to parenting responsibilities. I stared at the documents in disbelief. How had we gone from a family to legal adversaries so quickly? All because I couldn't trust what was right in front of me. I called 6 attorneys before finding one who would take my case. Richard Okonkwo, a stern man with salt and pepper hair and a reputation for handling difficult family court cases. "They have no grounds for termination," he assured me in his office. "You were present for your daughter's first year. You financially supported her. You didn't abandon her. The mother prevented access. But the DNA test shows you are the biological father," he finished firmly. "Getting a paternity test isn't grounds for terminating rights, though they'll paint it as proof you weren't committed. So what do we do? Fight." He leaned forward. "But I need to know everything. Any other doubts you expressed? Texts? Emails? Arguments witnesses overheard?" I thought of all our fights, the comments from her family, the moments of hesitation with Lily. There's a lot. Then we have work to do. The following weeks were brutal. Matt had built a comprehensive case, painting me as obsessed with Lily's appearance, racially self-hating, and fundamentally distrustful. He had affidavits from Kayla's parents and friends describing arguments they'd witnessed, screenshots of texts where I'd expressed doubts. even a sworn statement from the hospital nurse. In response, we gathered evidence of my involvement in Lily's life, photos of me at every doctor's appointment, receipts for baby supplies I'd purchased, testimony from my parents about my dedication. We also documented Kayla's refusal to let me see Lily since the hospital incident. But public opinion wasn't on my side. Somehow, details of our case leaked online. Social media exploded with hot takes. Black man rejects his own daughter for looking too white, then wants custody when DNA proves she's his. Man accuses girlfriend of cheating because he doesn't understand basic genetics. Toxic masculinity and racial self-hatred, a case study. My name wasn't used, but in our community, people knew. Co-workers avoided eye contact. I received anonymous, threatening messages. Someone spray-painted deadbeat on my car. My boss called me in his office 3 days before a court date. Andre, your work has been suffering, he began awkwardly. I know. I'm dealing with some personal issues, but it'll improve after next week. He sighed. It's not just that. Clients have been asking not to work with you. There's been talk. My stomach sank. What kind of talk? About your situation. Your court case. You wouldn't meet my eyes. We're an accounting firm. Our clients need to trust us implicitly. This situation raises questions about judgment. Are you firing me? We're putting you on unpaid leave until things resolve. I walked out of his office in a daze. My daughter, my relationship, my reputation, and now my job, all gone because I couldn't trust Kayla. The night before court, I sat alone in my apartment, surrounded by photos of Lily. One caught my eye, her newborn hospital picture. I'd been so focused on what she didn't inherit from me that I'd missed what was there all along. The shape of her eyes, the curve of her ears, the particular way her bottom lip jutted out when she was about to cry. Subtle things, easily overlooked but undeniably mine. My phone rang. It was Richard. They've offered a deal, he said without preamble. Supervised visitation twice a month. You continue child support payments. No overnight visits until Lily is 3. In exchange, they dropped the termination petition. That's nothing, I protested. She's my daughter. It's something, he countered. And frankly, family court is unpredictable. Judges have terminated rights for less. I ran my finger over Lily's photo. I need to think about it. Don't take too long. They want an answer before court tomorrow. After we hung up, I paced my apartment for hours. The deal would keep me in Lily's life, barely. But it would also validate the narrative that I was somehow less of a father because I'd had doubts. That my black identity made me an outsider to my own child. Around midnight, I remembered something. I dug through old boxes until I found what I was looking for. Recordings of my therapy sessions from 2 years ago. My therapist had encouraged me to record our discussions about my childhood abandonment issues to reflect on them later. I listened to several sessions, zeroing in on the ones where I discussed my fears of fatherhood. In one, recorded months before Lily was conceived, I'd said, I'm terrified of having kids because what if I can't love them unconditionally? My dad couldn't. He left when I was 4. And sometimes I wonder if I have it in me, or if I'll always be looking for reasons to run away too. I listened to it again, then made a decision. The next morning, instead of accepting the deal, I arrived at court with the recordings and a different strategy. When the judge asked for opening statements, I requested permission to address the court directly. Your Honor, I know I'm supposed to let my attorney speak, but before we begin, I want to acknowledge something. I did doubt whether my daughter was mine. I did get a paternity test without telling her mother. And when the results confirmed what should have been obvious, that she is my biological child, I was relieved. The courtroom was silent. Kayla stared at me, her brother whispering urgently in her ear. But this case isn't really about DNA, I continued. It's about trust. Ms. Evans believes I violated her trust by questioning our daughter's paternity. She's right. I did. But that doubt didn't come from nowhere. I played excerpt from my therapy recordings, my fears of repeating my father's abandonment, my childhood insecurities, my terror of not being good enough. These sessions were from before Lily was conceived. I explained. This fear of not belonging, of not being enough, has haunted me my entire life. When my daughter was born looking nothing like me, those old wounds reopened. I handled it badly. I hurt Ms. Evans deeply. I regret that every day. I turned to face Kayla directly. But Lily is still my daughter. And unlike my father, I'm still here. I'm fighting to stay in her life, not to leave it. The paternity test wasn't about accusing you of anything. It was about silencing the voice in my head that has always told me I don't belong. The judge called a recess, clearly affected by what he'd heard. During the break, Richard hurried over. That was either brilliant or career suicide for me, he muttered. But Matt wants to talk. In a small conference room, Matt and Kayla waited. Matt spoke first. That was unexpected, he said stiffly. Kayla has something to say. She looked exhausted, dark circles under her red-rimmed eyes. Why didn't you ever tell me about those therapy sessions? I was ashamed, I admitted, and I didn't realize how connected those old fears were to what was happening with Lily until last night. She studied me silently. I loved you, André. I trusted you completely. Do you know how much it hurt to find out you were secretly testing our daughter? I can imagine, I said softly. But do you know how much it hurt that you wouldn't even discuss my feelings? That every time I tried to talk about how people were making me feel about my own child, you shut me down? She looked away. I was protecting our family. I was part of that family too, but I felt like an outsider in my own home. Matt cleared his throat. This is all very touching, but we need to discuss settlement terms. No, Kayla said suddenly. I need to think. When court resumed, the judge asked if we'd reached an agreement. Matt stood. Your Honor, my client requests a 1-week continuance to reconsider her petition. The judge granted it, and I felt a small spark of hope for the first time in months. That evening, I received a text from an unknown number. This is Kayla. Can you meet tomorrow? Need to talk. We met at a neutral coffee shop. She came alone, looking nervous. I've been thinking about what you said in court, she began. About trust. I nodded, waiting. The thing is, I felt betrayed by the test. But I never considered that maybe I betrayed you first by refusing to acknowledge how hard it was for you. She twisted her napkin. My brother keeps saying this is clear-cut, but it's not. Nothing about family ever is. No, I agreed. It's not. I don't want Lily growing up without her father. I don't want to be filled with anger anymore. She took a deep breath. But I don't know how to trust you again. I don't know how to rebuild that trust either, I admitted. But I'm willing to try for Lily's sake. We talked for hours, really talked for the first time in months. About my abandonment issues. About her fear of being seen as that white girl who cheated on her black boyfriend. About how we'd both let other people's perceptions poison what we'd built together. By the end, we had the outline of a new agreement. Joint legal custody, a gradually increasing visitation schedule, and required co-parenting therapy for both of us. A week later, Kayla formally withdrew her petition. Matt was furious, but she stood firm. The judge approved our custody agreement, with a stern warning to both of us about putting our child's needs first. Outside the courthouse, Kayla hesitated, then handed me Lily. My daughter stared at me with her bright blue eyes, then broke into a gummy smile of recognition. She reached for my face, her tiny fingers tracing my cheek. "Da-da," she said clearly for the first time. I held her close, inhaling her baby powder scent. In that moment, I finally saw what had been true all along. She was undeniably, irrevocably mine. Not because of DNA or physical resemblance, but because I had chosen to be her father every day since she was born, through doubt, fear, and loss. And I would keep choosing her every day for the rest of my life. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below.